Preservation Committee. It's 6 p.m. on October 19th, and we'd like to start the meeting. There we go. I'd like to start with a call to order. So, I'd like to call the commissioners by name. Commissioner Burt.
Here.
Commissioner Marr.
Here.
Commissioner Jeremy.
Yes.
Commissioner, it's, who are the other two I'm missing? Randolph. And Commissioner Johnson.
Absent as well.
Okay, so we do have quorum because we have 4, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. At this point, I'd like to make a note that this is a hybrid meeting. This is a bit of a new format for us. We're not a complete Zoom meeting. We're not a complete in-person meeting. It's a bit of both. If you'd like to participate in the meeting, there's 3 ways you can participate. You can participate by phone. You can participate in person, which is preferred. Or if you'd like, you participate by Zoom. So all of that information on how to participate is available online. There are phone numbers, and there's a Zoom login number for people who are participating that way. And there's also some information about how to submit comments. Barring that, we're going to move on to Section 2. Are there any comments from the public? No? Staff?
Seeing no one step forward, and I don't see anyone raising their hand on Zoom.
Okay. Hearing none, we'll continue. I'd like to review and accept agenda. Is there anybody who would like to make any changes to the agenda, or can we accept as submitted? I'd like to hear, is there a motion to accept as submitted, or is there anybody who would like changes to the agenda?
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Okay. Thank you.
Roll call vote?
Oh, I'm sorry. Roll call vote. Commissioner Burt.
Aye.
Commissioner Marr.
Aye.
Commissioner Jeremy.
Aye.
Okay. Motion is approved. Is there any late correspondence, staff?
I don't believe so.
Okay. I didn't see any either. I don't believe there is. Nope. Seeing none, we'll continue. The next thing is check the consent calendar. Are there any items on the consent calendar?
There are no items on the consent calendar.
Thank you. Okay. So we're going to start the public hearing now. We're going to start with item number 7.1 on the agenda. It's a disclosure of possible design review about a remodel to construct a 600 square foot addition. Is the owner or presenter of the project present?
Yes.
Okay. Staff, may I have a staff report?
Absolutely. Let me know when you guys can see. There we go.
There we go.
All right. This is the design review application at 553 2nd Street East. The project site is located just southeast of the Sonoma Plaza and is a 18,000 square foot site, a little less than half an acre. It's currently developed with an existing 3,918 square foot single family residence with an attached carport. There's also a pool cabana, and a storage shed. There's approximately 60 feet of frontage on 2nd Street East, and the lot is about 300 feet deep and abuts Nathanson Creek at the rear of the property. And it's completely surrounded by single-family residential development and the low-density residential zoning district. The applicable standards for the project can be found in the Central East planning area of our zoning code, and it is also within our historic overlay. The required setbacks are 20-foot front, 5-foot minimum side, and 15-foot combined, and 20-foot rear. It's a very sweet project before us this evening. We're used to these, larger additions. We have a 600 square foot addition. There's a 300-foot addition on the first floor and 300 on the second, and would allow for minor additions to a new kitchen and the master bath. Some additional outdoor areas, including a covered patio on the first floor and open porch on the second floor. The existing brown cedar shingle siding would be painted Benjamin Moore Monterey white, and the windows would be painted a light a blue tone, Cascade blue, and the front door would match or potentially maintain a light oak stain. In the packet is a historic resource evaluation for the property that has identified it as historically significant. And there's also an evaluation of the proposed project, and that found that the modifications are in keeping with the historic nature of the property and would meet the Secretary of the Interior standards. Here is the existing site plan. The top is the, oh my gosh, the top is the proposed and the lower is the existing. And you can see the minor addition to the rear of the property, so it won't be visible from the street. This is the existing first floor plan and the proposed. Existing second floor and proposed. This is really the most helpful elevation. So the top is the proposed and the bottom is the existing. As you can see, basically all you can see from the street is the minor point of the roof ridge. And we also have the south elevation, top being the proposed and bottom being existing. So this is the south, so this would be from the neighbor, what the neighbor would see to the south. The west would be the rear elevation that mostly the property owners would be looking at. There's the north. And in order to approve the project this evening, these are the findings of approval. And staff's recommendation is to approve the design review subject to findings and conditions of approval. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions for the staff? That's very straightforward. And we've already indicated the applicant is present, which is nice to be in person. Nice to be able to say that. Would you like to come up and tell us a little bit about your project?
Sure. Take the podium.
Sure.
My name is James Wilhelm. I got a little prepared statement. I'm not sure who I should look at here.
Hold on just a moment. Do you have the microphone? It sounds...
Yes, you need to speak really
There we go.
close into the microphone. Sorry
Yes.
about
Try
that.
not
I have
to.
to bend over. Can
Thank
you hear
you.
me now? Is this better?
Yeah.
I can just read this. Good evening. My name is James Wilhelm, and I was hired by Steve and Noelle Andres, right over here, and charged with the task of redesigning their newly purchased home at 553 2nd Street East. I think much of this is going to be redundant, as I didn't compare notes with Christina, but I'll make it quick. Like many remodels of this era, the house was originally built in 1908. Our goal is twofold. First, modernize the house and upgrade it structurally, systems-wise, with electrical, HVAC, and sprinklers, as well as cosmetically. And second, embrace the historical details that make it original and significant to Sonoma. On the exterior, just like Christina had said, we're going to retain much of the existing shingle siding, but we will paint it. And I don't know, is there a camera that I'm supposed to look at? But if you can see, this is kind of the existing street elevation, and it's very dark, and it's these dark cedar shingles. So we are proposing, again, as Christina said, a nice warm Monterey white that will make the whole house appear much brighter. And while the windows, with the windows that will need replacing, we're going to exchange in a like-for-like manner, sort of keeping the original sticking and sort of a Prairie 9 style in the front. And we're going with this Cascade blue, which I've actually brought an actual chip if you guys wanted to see it, but in case there was any discussion on that. Let's see. The original house was built in 1908, as I said, with an addition in 1968, and the current house is 3,918 square feet with 5 bedrooms and 2.5 baths. The proposed design would add just 600 square feet over 2 floors, making the new house 4,518 square feet with 4 bedrooms and 3.5 baths. We're making one of the bedrooms is fairly awkward, making that into an office. The first floor of the addition will be a kitchen, and that will reestablish the hub of the house with access to living, dining, and sitting rooms, as well as a new outdoor dining area. And on the second floor, the addition of the house will be a master bathroom, which will make room for a large closet and master bedroom out of the current master bedroom. In addition, a large wraparound sun deck will connect the master bedroom and bathroom upstairs while covering a large outdoor dining area that will spill out onto the newly redesigned landscape and pool beyond. This porch will have an added effect of breaking up the scale from the home, because right now it's a very large 2-story structure on the back, so this will help contextualize it a bit. And finally, I'd just like to take a minute, since I have this opportunity, to thank and recognize Steve and Noelle, and just to say that they've embraced this project, because I'm sure they've heard many times that it would probably be cheaper to tear the whole thing down, even though they know they can't do that. And that they are committed to bringing this home back to life and back to its prominent role as one of the period estates on historical 2nd Street East. And I think, as one, they should be commended for that. So, thank you guys. That's what I got.
Thank you, appreciate that.
You bet.
Are there, before you leave, is there any questions for the applicant from the commission? Seeing none, I do have one question.
You bet.
So, from what I saw on the plans, it looks like there's a flat roof on the addition, is that correct?
It is.
And how are you going to treat that, or what was
Well,
that?
it'll have a sort of slow pitch. We just wanted to kind of, it was this, I was going to say kind of architecturally forensic. We're trying to understand what the existing was. And there was this notion of a sleeping porch, which in some of the arts and crafts movements had these kind of great flat roofed or open air sleeping porches. So the bathroom was going to have this kind of notion of just being a little bit, you know, not continuing another pitch of the house or not continuing another roof line, which there seemed to be too many of already, and kind of keeping the scale down in the back and relating it more to kind of the squareness of the porches, if that makes sense. So it's a little bit of a stretch, but it'll have a, I mean, it won't be a completely flat roof, obviously. It'll have a kind of.
And then I had another question too about the treatment on the chimney.
Yes. We are going to brace, sorry, can you hear me? We're going to brace the front chimney, but the rear chimney most likely will be brought down to studs and just reframed as the flue, just because of structural. We've been advised structurally that it's not great. But the original one has this great detail into the bricks and stuff that the clients want to try to maintain. Sorry, did that answer your question?
No, I did appreciate that. Thank
Okay.
you. At this time, are there any questions or public comments? And that's online or?
Yeah, I don't see anyone approaching the podium, and there are no comments on Zoom.
Are there any written comments?
No.
Okay, at this time, we're going to close the meeting to the public. So, and we'll discuss it amongst the commission. So we'll bring back the commission. Let's start with Commissioner Jeremy.
Yes, I really appreciate your approach to renovating this historical building. It seems to me that the most of the original character is kept, and the interior spaces are modified to provide much more pleasing living environment. So I think I'm looking at this as a very positive improvement to that existing building.
Thank you. Commissioner Moore.
Yes, I agree with Commissioner Jerome, and that this is a good improvement to this home to make it more functional for you and your family. But you're really very thoughtfully doing this to preserve everything you can for the neighborhood, as far as making most of the modifications on the rear, keeping the curb appeal the same, and making it a whole lot better with the white paint. It's just going to be so beautiful, and it's just kind of dreary right now with the it's not very Sonoma bright and happy. So I think it's going to just really come to life just with the paint alone. I don't have any problems with the modifications that you're making, and I appreciate that you've done so much work to preserve this home. So thank you, and that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Vice Chair Burt.
This is a beautiful project that you're working on, and I appreciate your report that you put in, explaining all the setbacks, what the existing and what you're going to do, making it very easy to see that everything complies with all the setback and FAR ratios. The painting does break everything up. You're really enhancing all the features of the front and the porch. Love the idea of the sleeping porch and bringing more light in on that side of the house. And I'm excited to see this come through. Congratulations.
Yeah, and I too, when I was looking at this plan, one of the first things I thought is how much better it's going to look a little bit lighter. There's a lot of dark brown there, so the colors are going to be very nice. And it's interesting that I don't oftentimes see houses giving up a bedroom and getting a bath, so I had to look at that twice and say it's going from 5 to 4. But that addition to the office makes sense. I think what's interesting to me is the bulk of this you don't even see, right? The majority of this is not visible from the street, and it's all from the back end. And from what I see, the design, the elements, the construction, the layout was beautiful. The second story porch is going to be wonderful. I like the railing. I think it's a really nice job. So compliments to you for keeping the integrity and the design ethic is really nice. So I think it's going to be a great project. With that, would somebody like to propose a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the design subject to the findings and conditions.
I second that.
Okay,
And would you like me to do a roll call vote?
please.
Commissioner Amar,
Aye.
Commissioner Jorhomi, sorry,
Jerome.
Jerome.
Yes.
Apologize.
Nope.
And Vice Chair Burt
Aye.
and Chair Cormany.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. Congratulations and good luck on your project. The next project is MacArthur Place Hotel in 29 East MacArthur. And due to proximity to my business, I have to recuse myself. Vice Chair Burt will be taking over on this one. It's all yours.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is consideration, discussion, and possible action to approve the design review application of Joe Walsh, a remodel in construction, 560 square foot of additions to 2 existing guest room cottages, construct a 109 square foot addition to an existing storage building, and associated site work with the existing hotel property, which is the MacArthur Place Hotel. And can we have the staff report, please?
Absolutely. And I apologize, there was a little bit of an error with the notice with the number of square feet. So the staff report is correct. And this is another one of the series of improvements at MacArthur Place that the commission has looked at recently. The project site is a 5.1 acre site that is bordered by Broadway to the west, East MacArthur to the north, and Nathanson Creek to the east, with Sonoma Valley High School to the south. The current hotel has been operating since the early 2000s and is located in the Broadway corridor with a zoning of mixed use. All of the proposed development is going to be well inside the core of the campus, so there's no issues with setbacks. There's a total of 751 square foot of additions to 4 of the buildings. Building G would receive a 202 square foot addition to incorporate a living room and convert it into a suite. And similar with building, oops, I got that wrong. With S, it says G, should be S, 284 square feet. Building E is a back of house storage area that would also get a minor addition. All of the exterior building materials would match the existing programming at the hotel. And the roofing would be a combination of black asphalt shingles and galvanized corrugated metal roofing. There's no formal design review application for landscaping that will come at a separate time, but there is no proposed tree removal. Here is the oops. I don't know what is going on with this. Here's the proposed site plan. The tangerine orange squares are where these infill additions would take place. Here is building G. And the minor addition. storage room, which is close to the emergency generator, I believe, up along East MacArthur. Here's the addition to the storage building, E. Here, building S. This is cottage suite I, building I. And we have the exterior renderings. Similar with the prior project, we have the required findings of approval for design review. And staff's recommendation is that the Design Review Historic Preservation Commission review and approve the project subject to findings and conditions of approval. Are there questions?
Any questions? Hey, is the applicant here this evening?
They are.
Can you please come up to the podium and state your name and address?
Good evening. I'm Michael Ross, architect for MacArthur Place, and we're going to try to connect to you, see if this works. If not, we'll connect another way.
Voila.
Ha! Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, hello. The MacArthur Place has come before you a number of times, and I want to express my appreciation for all of the input that you've given us to a variety of projects. And tonight we're going to show you a very fine-grained project that has to do with small additions to some existing buildings. And the project includes adding sitting room additions to buildings G and S, a small addition to the storage building E, a minor remodel of building I, i.e. adding 2 exterior doors, and associated site work, deck, and porches. The current site, as you know well, is actually a campus of interrelated buildings, and we've been working on them now for approximately 4 years. And not only has a lot of architectural and planning intellect been applied to this project, but also a lot of hospitality operational intellect has been applied to it, which guides some of our decisions. And when we present you a 109 square foot addition to building E, which we're going to show you tonight, it actually is related to removing some Connex boxes out of the parking lot so we get more parking spaces. Those Connex boxes are for storage, and so just by adding a little storage we can start creating other opportunities on the site. And similarly, these type of decisions are being driven by the operational knowledge of the hotel, and Joe Walsh is here to speak to that should you like to explore some of those ideas. The proposed site plan, which Christina has already shown you, is now illuminated in red, showing you exactly the locations of these additions. Building S, which is known as the chef's cottage, is going to have a small addition that goes to the south. Building E, the storage building, has a small addition that goes to the east. Building G has a small addition that goes to the south. And then you can see the 2 red dots representing the new doors in building I. This is building E. It is an unconditioned space. It is basically a service hub for hospitality staff. Here you can see the addition to the east, which is between it and building F. This is very, very rudimentary construction. It's a shed on an existing wood-framed building. This is the sitting room addition to cottage G. You can see the arrow pointing to the area where the addition is going to go. And why is this a good thing? Because very few of the, if not any, of the suites have sitting rooms. And so now, just by a simple sort of add a room approach, the hotel is going to get 2 cottages with sitting rooms, which will be great for guests who maybe are having a wedding or things like that, and they can actually host visitors to their guest room. Here is the location of the new sitting room. You can see the red arrow going to it. It's basically a living room with a fireplace. This is the detailed floor plan that Christina has already shared with you. Here's what it looks like. It looks exactly like what it looks like now. This is a rendering of Building G and how it expands to the south. And it's a very low scale, simple building that is in keeping with the agrarian clustered farm building approach that we've been designing to for over the years. This is the sitting room addition to Cottage S, which is also called the Chef's Cottage. It's behind a fence, you can hardly see it, but if you get inside the fence, you can see the Chef's Cottage, and the arrow points to where the addition is going to be slid into. So these are very surgical insertions that we're doing to the existing site. And most of the additions are going to be surrounded by landscaping, shrubbery, and things like that, and virtually invisible to anybody else except for the guest. And for sure, none of these additions are going to be seen from the street. And this is the new sitting room being added to the Chef's Cottage, the floor plan. This is the Chef's Cottage with the addition without its fence, which you'll never see, but this is basically showing you that it's a low-slung, simple cottage that is just like Building G and some of the other single-story buildings on the site. Here's the minor remodel of Building I. Building I is a beautiful building composed around a symmetrical scheme. And what's great about it is they're going to be adding new outdoor patios to the north and south, and they need doors to get there to these new spaces. And so the dots indicate where the new doors are going to be located. Building I, what it looks like from the exterior. And materials and finishes, we know them well. All of these additions are going to be using the same architectural palette, colors, materials, finishes, and scale and massing that you see throughout the campus. And so we're very confident that it's going to be interlaced perfectly with the architecture and of the right scale for this site. And with that, that's my presentation. Thank you very much for this opportunity to share this information with you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Welch, would you like to come up and talk a little bit about the project? Thank you.
Good evening. How's everyone doing?
Great.
I'm Joe Walsh with Latitude Lot 33 Capital, the ownership group of MacArthur. I just wanted to add a little context on the other projects that have been previously approved. These projects that Michael has just presented really came from the hotel operations team, more as capital projects that'll help, trying to breathe here, capital projects that'll help them operationally and really what the customers have been asking for. The building I that has the side patios, that really is done because of the spa project, which is currently scheduled to happen next winter. So we've sort of, with the hotel being very successful, we've moved the spa project's start date back to next winter time. And I think overall, the projects with the spa also will come with the guest room entitlements. So we had previously submitted an application and you approved for additional guest rooms. We're also currently planning to do that next winter. So that's everything I had, and let me know if we can answer any questions.
Are there any questions from the commission?
Excuse me.
Okay. All right, well, thank you so much for your presentation.
Thank you.
And then we'll go ahead and close the public hearing, or is there anybody from?
Yeah, there's no one coming up to the podium, and there's no one on Zoom
Okay.
raising their hand. Thank you.
So we can go ahead and close the public hearing and bring it back to the commission for comments. And Commissioner Amar?
Yes, I'm a fan of the MacArthur Hotel, and I've been a fan of most of the projects they've been bringing before us. This one I think is pretty straightforward. I think it's really nice the fact that you're listening to the people who use and run the hotel so much and actually, listening and doing what they need. So that's great. And I think it's just, you're just kind of tweaking things to increase efficiency and provide better service for your guests, your future guests. And with that, I think that there's no real issue as far as anything that we've approved previously or other things that are yet to be constructed there. Like I said, I think it's a little bit of a just little adjustments that you're tying everything together as this project evolves. And so I don't have too much more to say, but keep on doing your good work. Thanks.
Commissioner Jerome?
Well, thank you very much for your detailed presentation. It was delightful. And I think it's a very straightforward project following the same design vocabulary that is already existing on the campus and using the same materials. And I don't see any major issue or any issue with the proposed addition.
Thank you. And I agree with both my commissioners. I always love it when you come in and give us presentations. It's just a continuing of what we've been seeing and how consistent it has been. Love the fact that you're adding sitting areas. That'll definitely benefit your guests, and adding that storage area. It also makes it looks nicer than what's already there, and keeping the materials in hand. So with that, I see no issue on this project. Now, do I hear a motion from the commission?
I'll make a motion to approve this project subject to the findings and conditions.
Second that.
Okay, so moved.
So I'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Amar,
Aye.
Commissioner Jerome,
Aye.
Vice Chair Burt.
Aye.
Thank you. The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you, dedicated staff, and you're very professional and appreciated.
Very much.
We'll take a little 3-minute break.
Further items for discussion?
No items for discussion, but I do have an issues update. I
Okay.
wanted to let you all know that tomorrow night there's a special joint meeting of the Sonoma City Council, Planning Commission, and the Design Review and Historic Preservation Commission to talk about recent laws that were approved by Governor Newsom. David Storr had sent you all an email, and he apologizes. He called and apologized if he didn't have the correct emails for everyone, but the meeting will be held at 6 p.m. tomorrow in the EOC. It's going to be an in-person meeting. The city council is hoping that all the commissioners can attend in person. It will be recorded, so you could watch it afterwards if you need to. Do you have any updates, Christina?
I do have some updates. I think I've reported a couple months ago that we had engaged Page and Turnbull to evaluate our historic train district, and we have draft maps of the historic train district as well as the Broadway corridor district, which I believe was identified and delineated several years ago but was not officially adopted by, and I'm going to get the terminology wrong, but those two districts, and as well as a new Sebastiani Cottage district. So we'll be bringing those to the commission very shortly for review and hopeful adoption. We're also moving forward with engaging Page and Turnbull with some of our development code work for, as we mentioned, these housing bills that are coming down. They're really changing how Wendy and I do our jobs and what we're able to what standards we're able to apply on projects. So there's a big shift from subjective standards, where you apply your discretion and judgment, to using objective standards. And so we're moving forward to having draft design guidelines, objective design guideline standards for single-family residences by the end of the year. And we've engaged Paige and Turnbull to assist with that effort. And I just love collaborating with them, and having a lens with a skew towards our historic preservation just feels like a really great fit for our city. So, look forward to presenting those soon.
Thank you, appreciate it. And as always, I'd like to say thank you to staff who does a wonderful job, makes our job easy, because of preparing and everything you get together, it's appreciated. And I was sitting outside wondering about quorum when I realized we were really skinny today, right? Like, we were really not.
We sure were.
Yeah, because you have to have 3 to be a quorum, and the 5
Right.
person, correct?
And we just skimmed by tonight.
So, okay, with that, is there any other comments or anything we'd like to add anything to the meeting?
I have a question. I'm sorry, you mentioned the location of tomorrow night's meeting. Where was that?
It's in the EOC. It's a community meeting room adjacent to this room.
Oh,
So instead of walking in this door, before you get to the police station, if you walk around, what do you call it, the northwest corner, there's a little door, and by the Field of Dreams, in the same building, and it'll be propped open and you can come on in.
thank you.
Yeah, the EOC is Emergency Operations Center, and it's set up when there's natural disasters, fire, something like that. That's the control room where all that is from. So, anything else? Fast one today. Okay, so formally going to adjourn the meeting. It is 6:37, and this meeting is now adjourned.